Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is WatchArtSci, the art and science of watch collection. Today we're going to be looking at what I call a sub-collection. It's really part of Healer 74's magnificent collection. And this sub-collection is so interesting that I thought, well, I'll have it on its own. The entire collection has been uh, done in detail, and you'll see a couple links up there to it. So if you want to see more of this really very interesting collection, you can. Okay, so these are some new additions, and let's take a look at them. The first of all, they're not all of these. There are three, but there are three really incredible watches. They're part of MB&F's what they call their legacy machines, and the legacy machines are watches that they would have built 100 years ago. And the Maximilian Bouthier and Friends, it is one of the most unique and most interesting and one of the finest watchmakers in the world. They're really fantastic. And so what Healer 74 did, he got three of them and put together a series of photographs of the watches and some artwork that he has, this wonderful artwork that he does with it too. So let's take a look at the legacy machines from Healer. The first one we're going to take a look at is called the split escapement. And the split escapement is where you have the escapement on below the dial, and then the balance wheel and hairspring above the dial that appears to be suspended without any kind of connection to the escapement, and it's just beautiful watch. I mean, you can see the balance wheel as you look at the watch. Let's take a look at some more views of it. Now here you can see the front and the back together in a little more of a straight-on view, and you have a little view of the back. Now you can see in the back, right next to where it has MB&F, you can see the little escape wheel. So you have on the one hand the balance wheel on top and the escape wheel on the bottom. Here's a picture of the entire back of it with all of the rest of it, and keep in mind the kind of design and watchmaking that would go into a watch that splits the escapement between the balance wheel and the escape wheel. It's just fantastic. Okay, in here, now this is something that Healer does, Healer 74 does, that I really like. He takes a watch and then he pairs it with some kind of painting. And this one is a much more modern one, and it just, I don't know how he does it, but it just seems to sort of bring out something both in the painting and in the watch together. So this is the split escapement with that. The next watch is called the Legacy Machine 2. Most of the Legacy machines are done by individuals who have just incredible skills. One we just looked at was done by a guy named Stephen McDonald, and he's a fantastic watchmaker. Now this next, the Legacy Machine 2, is by Jean-Francois Mouzon and Carrie Wooten-Lannon. I'm not familiar with Jean-Francois Mouzon's work, But of course, I do know Kerry Wooten lanterns. In fact, we had we covered his entire watches that he made. Okay, now this watch, this is done with a single mainspring. And then you have two balance wheels with the hairsprings above the dial again. And it's called a planetary differential, and it transmits the average rate of two regulators to a single gear train. And this all comes from a single mainspring that runs this watch. And again, these watches by MB&F are remarkable. Here you can see the entire back of it, and when you look at the back, okay, you can't really. I mean, it has plates and so forth on it, but you can see the two gears beneath, underneath it. All right, so you have that, but you have a single mainspring. Here's another view of it straight down, and again you have there are your two balance wheels, but then it goes into a single gear chain. Finally, you have them together. It'll give you some kind of idea. It didn't give me much of an idea because this sort of went. These things are out of the realm of really normal understandings of mechanical watches because they're so fantastic. And finally, there's again, here you have the pairing with the watch that is always interesting, and to me a lot of fun. Brings out a lot in the watch too. Now the final one of the three that are part of this sub collection is called the Legacy Machine 101. Now here you can see something very interesting, is that you can see to the left, you can see the escape wheel sort of sticking its nose out from underneath some kind of dial covering plate, and then you have the balance wheel and hairspring above the dial so that the user can look at that and incidentally tell the time. Now this is what they talk about as this is done with MB&F with Kerry Wooten lantern. When it says with MB&F, I'm not sure who is involved with that. I would imagine Maximilian Bouzer, but I'm not sure really. But we know that Kerry Wooten lantern was involved again. Okay, so here you have this three-dimensional horological movement. You have manual winding with a single mainspring again, power reserve of 45 hours. And then you have talks about a big balance wheel. It's a flying balance wheel, a bespoke. Of course it is. I mean, like they only make a few of the. I think like they maybe make 10 or a dozen of these watches of each one, and so it's again, this is another one of their legacy machines. And the concept, I never was sure. I'm not sure of why this was done 100 years ago. They are all mechanical, and all of these things, well, they did exist 100 years ago. Maybe that was, I mean, all of the things that you need for it. Here you can see the back of it, and it's signed by, well, signed. It has Kerry Wooten lanterns, and then it has MB&F, and I'm not, again, like I said, I'm not sure who all involved on that. You can see well, from this view, it looks like the winders at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, right in there. I guess that would be on about around 4 o'clock on the other side, looking at it. And to me, this one is one of the most beautiful ones they have. The way those the bridges go, and it's just really pretty. I really like this watch a lot. And here you can see them together. This is a better shot. You can see, looking straight down, you can see the escape wheel peeking out there of the three-dimensional horological movement. So, I mean, any of them they're all fantastic. I mean, like, it's one thing to have one unbelievably cool watch like that. To have three, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how Heuer 74 gets anything done. I would be spending all my time just looking at these watches. Okay, well, I'd really like to hear from what your thoughts are on these, and mine are clearly the ones of like amazement, but these are very cool watches, and you might want to take a look at from the things I've been dropping down. You can see the other watches in Heuer 74's collection. And as always, I'd really like to hear your comments. And of course, this is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like. So until Friday, Bill Sanders for WatchArtSci, the art and science of watch collection.